Buy every share of this stock that you can. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but based on the research I'm going to show in this video, some financial advisors might say to buy as much as possible before December 1st. The company is SanDisk, ticker symbol SNDK. They provide enterprise-grade memory, so solid-state drives like you'd have in your laptop. You probably heard of SanDisk. It's in the same section in Best Buy as Western Digital or Seagate. Micron is in the conversation as well as a publicly traded ticker in memory. SanDisk notably is up for S&P inclusion on Friday. And if we've looked at prior S&P inclusions, Tesla being one, Robinhood being one, there can be a slight gap into that event. Palantir most recently. Now that could sell off after that event, but this company still has 1.7 billion in revenue, which is above the guidance expected. And the memory segment as a whole is a growing market. These data centers have a need for memory. They're basically like massive computers, stacks and stacks of servers. And so SanDisk is not directly a client per se of Google, of Amazon, of OpenAI, but this growth and sales is driven by these data center buildouts. So it's all connected, and there is a company as well I want to share with you, Ciena, ticker symbol CIEN, that I'll cover in this video, that does the optical connections, the networking for data centers, that is also implicated in the growth of this massive circular financing AI bubble boom that so many companies are benefiting from. CN has 1.2 billion in revenue. It's up 30% year over year in revenue. And it seems like they do have a connection to Google Cloud, Amazon Web Services, in that they are presenting, connecting the literal GPUs that allow all of this computation to occur. So with that in mind, this is not financial advice, but I do want to show you some of our results, especially if you're new to this channel and if you're unsure about what we've got going on here. So this is one idea. We've had solar stock, FSLR, up 30%, 35 plus actually, since we mentioned it. Bloom Energy, a power generation stock, up 200% since it was mentioned on this channel. A-Lab, a semiconductor stock, up 100% since it was mentioned here. A battery stock, up 90% since it was mentioned here. And we've had a lot of pretty big wins. This is one of our members in the Discord. He made 10 grand, which is pretty awesome. And then another member made 6,500. So we are running that $19 Cyber Monday deal for 7 days. You can try that out at stockscommunity.com. See it's for you to get a little help one-on-one, or just see some recordings of technical descriptions that I could put on this YouTube video and in this channel. But in general, people, I think, want bigger ideas on here. So give it a try. And this is not financial advice, but let's jump into a breakdown.
This is Sam Putnam.
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 Okay, so here's what we've got going on here for SanDisk. This is the revenue. First off, they're up a lot, okay? They have gone up a lot. All these memory companies have gone up significantly. But SanDisk seems to be pretty much ready for a bounce. And here's their earnings, okay? 1.7 billion. It's actually down a little bit, but ahead of the guidance, which is what matters, because the market, of course, is pricing in what people expect, and then what happens changes the price. So that's what's going on. Of course, if I knew everything that was going on, this would be a lot easier. They did have a net loss, so that's sort of a one-time thing, it seems like. Nothing to worry about. And this is the number that's pretty important, cloud, which is that growing segment of data centers. So if we just simply look at the chart, I mean, a lot of these numbers are down a little bit, gross margin down a little bit, but the chart doesn't really lie. So this run is insane, almost 400% or whatever you want to call it, depending on where you measure it. And sure, it's had a little bit of a sell-off recently, but that's to be expected. And this stock absolutely skyrocketed. It does have S&P inclusion on Friday, so the market's closed tomorrow, which is Thanksgiving in the US. And Friday's a half day, so there could be a little move. Notable levels, this was a little sell-off today, a little small day, really brings it back to this nice 215, which, you know, if you're going to put, say, 10% of your 500K portfolio or whatever 10% of what you've got going on is, there's plenty of liquidity. This is 30 million shares a day of a multi-$100 stock, but you just want to make sure, you know, if you're buying, gosh, I don't know, even, let's say, 500 shares of this stock, if you are risking $1, you know, versus $5, that's a difference of, you know, $2,000. So it really matters. And if we look at the intradaily, which is helpful for a stock like this, it is presenting a sort of risk level at 211, which is pretty clear. And it sort of goes all the way back to here and here. So you don't have to be that particular. You can say, hey, you know, this has gone up a lot. It's pulling back. I'm looking for a bounce up. I'll risk here. I'll let it maybe fall a couple of days. That's fine. But it's not optimal. If you really want great results, it's recommended to risk as little as possible. Because when this stock trends, it really does trend. I mean, this is no joke. This is 30% in 3-4 days, right? So this stock can really, really move. And if we look at other stocks in this sector, Western Digital, I mentioned, they've already gone up 4 days in a row with the market that's gone up 4 days in a row. The QQQ has gone up 4 days in a row. So you can't really buy these. Seagate as well, Micron as well. So it's really only SanDisk that presented this nice opportunity, partially because there was so much buying on, I guess this was Tuesday or Monday. Yeah, Monday was the 24th. Got a little confused because I have Sunday futures on this chart, which I don't really need to have, but it's nice to have as much information as possible in an easy to display manner. It gapped up a lot, okay? If Monday was a monster day. Monday can be a moon day. People are excited to buy after the weekend, but I think that's because it went down so much. So for whatever reason, we could pick this apart for a while, but all we really have to say is it's kind of a gift that it gave back a little bit now, because now you're not buying it 4 days up in a row, you're buying it after a give back off of this key level. So that's the idea. That's SanDisk on a chart. And a little more about what they're up to. Well, we'll see. Again, this goodwill impairment, I don't think is a big deal, or if it is, it's a one-time thing. It's not like they had some crazy fire or scandal or anything like that that would make them less liked by the market. And sure, I mean, there was some declines in revenue, but it's pretty clear that just from the 400% growth that there's a lot of demand for memory. they spun out of Western Digital. I don't think it was that recently. But yeah, the demand depends heavily on data center and consumer macroeconomics, sure. But data center, no one's doubting that. No one is saying that these memory companies are going to go, 500% more just because it looks like they spun off just this year, actually. So they're going up because Sam Altman keeps talking about needing 20 gigawatts of power, which is for whatever the number is. Someone can tell me in the comments, 20 gigawatt hours of compute. Whatever it is, it's in the hundreds of billions just to be able to pay for all of this. And that hundreds of billions is going to companies like SanDisk and like Ciena. So this is that S&P 500 inclusion. It's a big deal, and it's not make or break, how it behaves on Friday, but it's a nice little boost. So we'll see what happens. There's definitely memory chip demand right now. And as long as the AI data center wave continues, this stock's definitely interesting. Sure, there's no connections directly to Google, Amazon Web Services, but we all can make the pretty clear connection that these are the clients of the data centers, and the data center is the client of SanDisk. So that's what's going on. Okay, so that's probably enough of SanDisk. I mean, we're not trying to be total fundamental investors here. Otherwise, we just get stuck in a company like this when we want to look at a number of companies and look for the best opportunities. In my opinion, I'm sure they have some pretty exciting products. High capacity solid state drives are actually, really exciting when you get a laptop with one of those. I've experienced that. But here's the deal. Here's this other company, Ciena, that I think is a nice pairing to SanDisk. So anything can happen, but Ciena definitely has enough money coming in to 1.2 billion, up 30% year over year, that it's interesting. It's of a similar size, 12 billion market cap. High institutional ownership, although that doesn't matter quite as much as it might in biotechs or healthcare. But look at the chart. I mean, if I took the tickers off of this, could you tell me this was Ciena and not SanDisk? I mean, they seem to be moving pretty similarly, right? So I'm not saying they're going to move the same forever, but this went up 70%. So the scale is definitely different in terms of growth. SanDisk going up 400%, but there's definitely some correlation here. And yeah, it is up 5 days in a row. So I'm not saying to just hop in here willy-nilly, but these candles are pretty big in SPY. And if we look again at Western Digital, these two candles are big, I guess it's kind of like buying Western Digital. The reason it caught my eye is this shelf is really interesting. So maybe you can find something like that for these other companies, but this is pretty pronounced. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And tight days are really good indicators of price agreement. So buyers don't want to pay more for it. Sellers don't think, don't want to sell it. They think it's worth it at that price. So if you can risk whatever it is, 190, and sure, it'd be great if this came down a little actually to risk off that level, but that would be a really good buying opportunity. You see it hit here again, to buy Ciena. And there's plenty of time before this earnings as well to take a swing at it. So that's the chart, which is pretty important, even though it might seem sort of, astrology or loosey-goosey or just uninspired or non-intellectual. But this is what they're up to. Network hardware, switches. We all know that all these optical companies are doing well. They do have a pretty significant margin too. I don't know about non-GAAP and then gross. That's a lot of qualifiers, but they are expected to grow revenue, and they're working on data center interconnects, AI-driven networking, pretty much exclusively, winding down their prior businesses. So they're definitely in the right category, hyperscalers. And we're not betting on this company like you'd bet on OpenAI to be the savior of this sector. I mean, there's a lot of companies that do optics, fiber optics for data centers, and we can look at some of those. But we do know that this company is positioning itself to benefit from the hyperscaler build out, from the AI build out. And I see no reason that they won't get big contracts or continue to get big contracts. So they have this acquisition of a company that helps them compete in that space. So all the signs really show that they're in the same conversation as Lumen, which is actually a collaborator. Or these are smaller companies, but Lumen in particular has had some pretty significant growth. If we just look at the chart for Lumen, I just want to make sure we do see that, yes, AWS is likely the end client for this networking solution. Azure, likely, maybe not in the US, but Google Cloud and IBM are literally listed among, Sirion, which is Ciena's, I guess, I don't know if Sirion's their operator, then Ciena would be the provider for Sirion. That would be the correct terminology. You get what's going on here. We don't have to pretend to business speak it. Lumen had a pretty awesome run. Did sell off after earnings, but starting to turn up. It's not as much of a slam dunk, I think, as a company that just has been going up like crazy. Lumentum, Light, also sort of connected. Big break through 300, but kind of gone. And then these other companies, AAOI has just been really choppy. And Coherent, COHR actually, is also one that's in the conversation. So those are ones to keep an eye on. But I think Ciena is the best idea right now. So hope that helps. I will say that we're going to see. We're going to see what happens. And you don't want to hold this into earnings. But definitely very interesting companies, SanDisk and Ciena. So if you like those ideas, hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Help people find this. If you want a free course on how to buy stocks before they go up, hit that subscribe. That'll be posted in the YouTube posts once a month for subscribers. And if you want results like the testimonials I showed, I can't guarantee it. Can't guarantee this information will help you at all, but there is a $19 Cyber Monday deal you can try out, see for yourself. It's 7 days. You can head over to stockscommunity.com and give that a shot. And I'll see you in the next one.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.